A violinist is suing Will Smith, claiming retaliation after he alleges that he was fired for reporting harassment while on tour with Smith. Brian King Joseph filed the lawsuit in California earlier this week, accusing Smith of deliberately grooming him for sexual exploitation.
Will Smith's team allegedly fired a musician for reporting a personal threat found in his hotel room, then replaced him the very same day. At first, everyone assumed this was just another messy lawsuit, a quick payout, a short-lived headline, something that would fade before the next tour stop. That changed when the violinist's lawyer dropped the receipts. A handwritten note signed Stone F. A bottle of HIV medication with someone else's name on it. Hospital discharge papers belonging to a stranger. And a bottle left like a calling card inside a Las Vegas hotel room, booked by Smith's own management. The lawsuit, filed on December 30th, claims Smith's tour manager shamed the violinist, called his trauma a lie, and terminated him within 72 hours. While Will Smith himself stayed silent, posting vacation photos from Egypt, his legal team dismissed the allegations as false, baseless, and reckless. But here's what doesn't add up. If this was all a setup, why did hotel security confirm there was no forced entry? And if this was just a smear campaign, why did Smith's crew hire a replacement violinist before the first one was even off payroll? This isn't just a he said, she said. This is a system cracking. And the next leak is expected to reveal exactly who was in that room, who gave the order to bury the incident, and why Will Smith's empire is suddenly scrambling to shut this story down before it reaches the one place he can't control, a courtroom.
Yeah, Kate, so according to the complaint, this all happened in March of last year while the violinist was on tour with Will Smith for Smith's global tour for his latest album based on a true story. And according to the complaint, there was this intrusion at his Las Vegas hotel room. He came back to his hotel, he says, and found that there was no forced entry, but that someone had entered the room and left a number of items there.
The official version, laid out in a statement from Will Smith's lawyer, is simple, false, baseless, and reckless. Alan B. Grodsky didn't just deny the allegations, he framed them as an attack on Smith's character, calling it a reckless attempt to extort a man who had already been through enough. But there's a problem with that defense. It doesn't explain the replacement violinist. Joseph was let go on March 23rd, and by the very next leg of the tour, someone else was already in his spot. That's not how firings for poor performance work. That's how firings for liabilities work. And it's not just the timing that raises eyebrows. It's the silence. Will Smith hasn't addressed this personally. No Instagram statement. No interview. No let me be clear. Just his lawyer's scripted denial, and a carefully curated feed of vacation photos from Egypt and Botswana, as if the entire situation were beneath him. But people in the industry know better. When a star at Smith's level stays this quiet, it's not because he's ignoring the noise. It's because he's waiting for it to pass.
If he is able to prove, right, that there was a retaliatory termination, that he went forward with these allegations, that he said that he felt unsafe, that he felt that there was some sort of harassment that was in existence here, and that complaint was the basis of his termination.
What's being whispered now is that this wasn't just about a single incident. It was about control. Joseph wasn't some random hire. He was brought in months earlier after performing at Will Smith's San Diego shows in December 2024. According to Joseph, Smith himself told him, "You and I have a special connection I don't have with anyone else." That's the kind of line that sounds flattering in the moment, and sinister in hindsight. By March, Joseph was fully embedded in the tour. His hotel room was booked by Smith's team. His room key was stored in a van controlled by Smith's crew, the same van where his bag went missing for hours before the alleged intrusion. There was no forced entry. No alarms. Just a room that had clearly been accessed. A note left behind. And a man who suddenly became a problem. The question isn't just who left those items. It's who made sure Joseph would be the one to find them. Then there's the matter of Stone F. The name doesn't match any known alias of Smith, anyone in his inner circle, or anyone listed on the tour roster. But the handwriting on the note wasn't casual, it was intimate. The heart doodle. The words "just us." The specific time mentioned, as if this were a planned rendezvous. Someone wanted Joseph to know this was personal. Someone also wanted him to know they'd be back. The police report, such as it was, went nowhere. Hotel security found no signs of a break-in, which means whoever entered had a key or knew how to get one. Smith's team had the keys. Smith's team had the access. And Smith's team fired Joseph the moment he spoke up. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern.
Shocking allegations against Will Smith, a violinist who was a finalist on America's Got Talent and performed in Smith's band, is accusing the star of predatory behavior.
The replacement violinist is the detail that turns this from a simple he said, she said into something much uglier. When you fire someone for cause, you don't have their replacement lined up before the ink on the termination notice even dries. But when you fire someone for reporting something, you do. And when the person you're firing is the only one raising alarms about a potential security breach on your own tour, you don't just let them go. You make sure they can't talk. Joseph's lawsuit doesn't just allege personal harassment. It alleges retaliation. And that's the part Will Smith's lawyer isn't addressing. That's the part suggesting this was never really about Joseph at all. It was about sending a message to anyone else who might consider speaking up. But this is where the story starts to bend. The HIV medication didn't belong to Joseph. It didn't belong to anyone on the tour, at least not officially. So why was it there? Was it planted to frame someone? Left behind by mistake? Or was it a warning, something meant to intimidate, to imply consequences beyond just losing a job? The hospital discharge papers raised the same questions. Whose were they? Why were they in that room? And why there? When Joseph reported all of this, Smith's team didn't call the hotel to verify his claims. They didn't check security footage. They didn't follow up with police. They just fired him and moved on. That's not how innocent people behave. That's how people act when they already know the answer. Then there's the timing. Joseph's Instagram post from December 27th, 3 days before the lawsuit was filed, wasn't vague. It was a direct shot. Getting fired, blamed, shamed, or threatened for reporting personal misconduct or safety threats at work is not okay. He didn't name Will Smith. He didn't have to. The message was clear: I tried to do the right thing, and they destroyed me for it. Smith's team had to have seen that post. They had to have known what was coming. And yet, there was no preemptive statement. No leaked evidence of Joseph's supposed lies. No proactive defense. Just silence until the lawsuit forced their hand. That's not confidence. That's damage control.
And you have all those causes of action under the California law, statutory law, regarding retaliation. And there's the allegation there, right? And of course, a pleading, complaint in the civil arena, you just have to make out the allegations enough to get into the courtroom. But there are certain aspects of claims like this that I think on this particular complaint, especially against Will Smith individually, that this individual, the plaintiff, may have a difficult time having that claim survive.
And then there's the matter of Jada Pinkett Smith's own legal trouble. Just 1 month before Joseph filed his lawsuit, a former associate named Bilal Salam sued her for $3 million, alleging violent threats and coercion tied to a non-disclosure agreement. The Smiths called him an opportunist. Their inner circle dismissed it as noise. But the timing is too neat. 2 lawsuits in 2 months. Both accusing the Smiths of using intimidation to silence people who crossed them. Both plaintiffs claiming they were threatened, shamed, and discarded after speaking up. Both cases met with the same strategy: deny, attack, and wait for the storm to pass. That's not coincidence. That's a playbook. What's becoming clear is that this isn't just about a violinist in a hotel room. It's about how Will Smith's empire handles threats. Joseph wasn't the first. The real question is, how many others have there been, and what happened to them when they tried to speak? Because one thing is certain. When a man like Will Smith stays silent, it's not because he has nothing to say. It's because he's already decided what the world is allowed to hear. And right now, the only thing standing between that decision and the truth is a violinist with receipts, a lawyer who's taken down bigger names, and a note signed by someone no one can explain. The next move isn't Smith's. It's theirs. And if the past is any indication, it's going to be brutal.
That Bilal says that Jada went up to him at a party back in November 2021.
The deeper you dig into Brian King Joseph's case, the more it starts to look like a single thread in a much larger pattern. This isn't just about one musician or one hotel room. It's about how power protects itself. And Will Smith's power isn't built on talent or charm alone. It's built on control. The same week Joseph's lawsuit dropped, insiders began talking about how Smith's team actually operates, a tight, loyal circle where problems don't get solved, they get buried. The replacement violinist wasn't just a practical decision. It was a signal. To the crew. To the industry. To anyone else who might think about speaking out. You cross the line, you disappear. Not with drama. Not with scandal. Just quietly. Professionally. Like you were never really there at all. That's how things work when the stakes are this high. And the stakes for Smith right now aren't limited to one lawsuit. They involve Disney deals, brand partnerships, and the carefully constructed image of a man who spent decades convincing the world he's the good guy. One wrong move, one story that doesn't stay buried, and that image collapses. So when Joseph's lawyer, Jonathan Delshad, started asking questions, the response wasn't just legal. It was strategic. Because Delshad isn't some ambulance chaser. He's the same attorney who took on Tyler Perry in a series of lawsuits alleging retaliation against actors who rejected advances. That's not coincidence. That's a specialty. And the fact that Smith's team didn't see that coming suggests they were too busy managing fallout to recognize the pattern forming around them. What's most telling is how Smith's inner circle reacted, or didn't. No leaked texts to discredit Joseph. No old social media posts to paint him as unstable. No witnesses produced to contradict his story. Instead, they chose the nuclear option, call him a liar, label the claims baseless, and let silence do the rest. But silence only works when the story isn't spreading. And this one is. Because the details don't just raise questions, they demand answers. The HIV medication. The hospital discharge papers. The note signed by someone no one can identify. These aren't random objects. They're clues. And the fact that Smith's team never tried to explain them, never offered an alternative theory about who left them or why, speaks volumes. You don't ignore evidence unless you're afraid of where it leads. And in this case, the trail doesn't just lead to a hotel room. It leads to a system.
That's 100% true, and you and I both know from a legal perspective to make a very public case and a very public claim against a high-profile celebrity when there are avenues in the law where someone can file a lawsuit anonymously. I'm not saying that's what your client wanted to do or not, but sometimes there's an avenue. That goes to a clear issue of credibility, and it goes to a clear issue of why do this.
Then there's the matter of the key. Joseph's bag, containing his hotel room key, went missing for hours before the intrusion. The van it was stored in was controlled by Smith's crew. The room itself was booked by Smith's management. There was no forced entry. No signs of a struggle. Just a violation that could only have happened with inside access. That's not negligence. That's complicity. And it's not the first time Smith's team has been accused of playing fast and loose with the truth. Remember Bilal Salam, the former associate who sued Jada Pinkett Smith for $3 million, alleging she threatened him with violence and attempted to coerce him into signing an NDA? The Smiths called him an opportunist. Their friends dismissed the lawsuit as nonsense. But the parallels are impossible to ignore. A man reports misconduct. The Smiths deny everything. And the accuser gets painted as the villain. The difference this time is the receipts. Joseph didn't just tell his story, he documented it. Photos of the note. Records of his reports. A paper trail that doesn't just support his claims, but makes Smith's silence look like an admission. And that silence is the most damning part. Will Smith hasn't just avoided addressing the allegations. He's acted as if they don't exist. Vacation photos. Promotional interviews. Business as usual. But that's the thing about men like Smith. They don't get to his level by panicking. They get there by controlling the narrative. And right now, that narrative is slipping. Because Joseph isn't an anonymous accuser. He's a talented musician with a public platform, a lawyer who knows how to fight these battles, and a story that's too specific to dismiss. The note. The medication. The immediate firing. The replacement. These aren't coincidences. They're pieces of a puzzle. And the picture they're forming isn't just about a single incident. It's about a culture.
And just used him. I absolutely believe that Sean Diddy Combs would do things to Brashear Gray. I absolutely believe that Brashear Gray was violated by both of these men. That in itself is a believable narrative to me. Why? Because Brashear Gray right now is online on OnlyFans getting turned out by multiple men, creating this OnlyFans content, trying to create money from it, and etc. So I can even see that taking place. I can imagine somebody being taken advantage of when they're young, being essayed when they're young, and that in itself can lead to problematic, aggressive behaviors, which is why they end up in prison.
What's being whispered in industry circles is that this isn't the first time something like this has happened. Not with Will Smith, and not within his orbit. The difference is that most people don't have the resources or the platform to fight back. Most get paid off, intimidated, or slowly worn down until they disappear. But Joseph isn't most people. And Jonathan Delshat isn't most lawyers. He's the kind who doesn't just file lawsuits, he builds cases. The kind who knows how to turn a single incident into a pattern into a liability, and a liability into a reckoning. That's why Smith's team isn't just denying the claims. They're trying to discredit the messenger. Because if Joseph's story holds up, it doesn't just threaten Smith's reputation, it threatens the entire machine. There's another detail no one is really talking about, the timing. Joseph's lawsuit was filed in December. By January, Smith's team was already moving aggressively to dismiss it. That's not how you respond to a frivolous case. That's how you respond to a threat. And the speed of that response suggests they know exactly what's at stake. Because this isn't just about money. It's about survival. Will Smith's career has always been built around redemption, from the Fresh Prince days, to the Oscars slap, to the carefully staged comeback. But redemption requires control of the narrative. And right now, that narrative is cracking. The question isn't just whether Joseph's claims are true. It's whether they're the tip of the iceberg. Then there's Stone F. The name doesn't match anyone in Smith's known circle. No aliases. No stage names. No nicknames. So who is it? A plant? A scapegoat? Or someone Smith's team is actively protecting? If this were just a random intrusion, why hasn't anyone come forward to claim responsibility? Why hasn't Smith's team offered a single alternative explanation? The only logical answer is that they can't, at least not without exposing something, or someone, they'd rather keep hidden. That's the real story here. Not just the note. Not just the medication. The silence. What's becoming clear is that this isn't just a legal battle. It's a test of how far Smith's power really extends, of how much the industry is willing to overlook, and of how many people are willing to stay quiet to keep the machine running. And the scariest part? We still don't know half of it. Because if Joseph's claims are true, if there really was a coordinated effort to silence him, then the question isn't just what happened in that hotel room. It's what's happening in all the other rooms we don't know about yet.
And you're asking me to kind of hypothesize on what may have happened in this case. And again, as an attorney, our job is to advocate for our clients, to figure out the facts. At this point, the only side of the story I know is from what my client tells me.
Sure.
We want to do the discovery. We want to get into the weeds of this case. We want to figure out exactly what happened, who was involved in this, and there's ways that we can figure that stuff out.
The panic isn't just coming from Smith's legal team. It's spreading through his inner circle. Sources close to the situation say some of Smith's longest-standing friends and collaborators are now scrambling, worried their own names could be pulled into the fallout. This isn't just about one lawsuit anymore. It's about who knew what, who looked the other way, and who may have been involved in ways that haven't surfaced yet. The fear isn't just reputational, it's legal. Because if Joseph's claims about the hotel room intrusion are true, if there really was a coordinated effort to silence him, then the question isn't just what Will Smith knew. It's what his closest allies did to help make it happen. One name being whispered belongs to a longtime associate, a producer who's been tied to Smith for more than a decade and was heavily involved in the tour's logistics. Insiders claim this individual had direct oversight of the Las Vegas leg of the tour, including hotel bookings and crew access. If Joseph's room key really did go missing from a van controlled by Smith's team, this is the person who would have known. And if the intrusion wasn't random, if it was planned, then this associate would have been in a position to facilitate it, or at the very least, help cover it up afterward. The problem is, this isn't someone who can afford to be dragged into a scandal. This is a man with his own deals, his own partnerships, and a career just as carefully constructed as Smith's. If his name becomes publicly tied to this, the dominoes don't just fall for him. They fall for everyone connected to him.
You need to find a way to make sure your wife ain't talking about your private business.
And it's not just one person feeling the heat. The entire inner circle is on edge because of how this case is being framed, not as an isolated incident, but as part of a pattern. Joseph's lawyer has made it clear he's not just going after Smith. He's going after the system. And in Hollywood, systems don't protect just one man. They protect an entire network. The fear now is that if this case gains traction, if more people start talking, the scrutiny won't stop at a hotel room in Las Vegas. It'll spread to every tour, every project, every NDA ever signed to keep someone quiet. That's why the silence from Smith's camp isn't just strategic. It's desperate. Because the more this unravels, the more names get dragged into the light. And some of those names have even more to lose than Will Smith does. So here's where we are. A violinist with evidence. A global superstar with everything to lose. And a system that spent years perfecting the art of making problems disappear. The lawsuit is only the beginning. The real fight hasn't even started. And one thing we know for sure, Will Smith doesn't lose. Not on camera. Not in public. The question is, what is he willing to do to keep it that way? Now it's your turn. Do you think Joseph is telling the truth? Or is this just another attempt to take down a powerful man? Who do you think Stone F really is, and why has no one come forward to claim that name? And the biggest question of all, if this is how Smith's team handles one accuser, how many others were silenced before him? Drop your theories in the comments. This story isn't over. Not by a long shot. Stay sharp.